Now, City TV 19 presents Senior Moments.
Hello everyone, I'm Joe Madrano. November may not be much of an exciting month. All the fall colors have been gone. It's now warm, but not too cold. Not yet snow either. We just feel nothing around this time between the two seasons. But if you want to feel something, turn on your TV and watch Senior Moments. Senior Moments covers events and activities at senior centers in the Ann Arbor-Ypsilanti area, such as the Ann Arbor Senior Center, Turner Senior Resource Center, the Pittsfield Senior Center, the Ypsilanti Senior Center, and the Ann Arbor Community Center. Also, the show provides valuable information for senior citizens on such issues as health, wealth, finance, and entertainment. The program premieres on the last Sunday of the month, with the reruns on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 11 a.m. and 5 p.m., Saturdays at 9 a.m., and Sundays at 5 p.m. on CTN Channel 19 for a month. Well, November may not be very exciting for you, but remember, it won't be too long before you've got to shovel snow. So keep up your spirits and stay healthy.
Hello, I'm Bonnie Weber. Our guest today is Terry Bertram. Terry is an estate planning and elder law attorney with the Legacy Law Center in Ann Arbor, Michigan. Terry is going to share with us how we can become informed consumers in order to make choices that can lead to a good life and a peaceful end of life. Hello, Terry. Welcome to Senior Moments.
Well, thanks for having me.
Thank you
here,
for
Bonnie.
joining us today.
Yeah.
Terry, I met you working at Pittsfield Senior Center.
Mm-hmm.
And you work with seniors. Can you tell us how you became interested in estate planning and working with elder law? Seems like a kind of a niche market that an attorney might choose to go.
Yes, well actually it was because of my parents.
Oh.
My father, when I was young, there were 7 of us children at home.
Mm-hmm.
He died suddenly.
Oh.
And but my mother, who lived a long life, there's a couple of things that are inevitable. We will age,
yes,
and we will die.
Yes.
And I went through my mom as she went through those stages and saw that occurring, and said, there's got to be ways that we can help folks to maybe better prepare, better talk to their families, and work on those things. So the paradigm shifted. The things that used to kill us, the heart attacks, the strokes, the cancers, now don't necessarily kill us, but give us long life, but there is a time of inevitability.
I was reading an article the other day, and they referred to my generation as the Silver Tsunami. They said there's going to be so many people in my generation that they almost inferred that we're going to put some serious strains on health care, end-of-life care, and that really made me think about, we really need to plan more about your life, your end of life, how you want to spend your last years, your last months, your last days, and that kind of falls into your area, doesn't it?
Yes, it does.
So what are some things that people can do? What are some key points that folks can do if they want to plan beyond the will or beyond a living trust? What are some of the things that they should be looking at?
Well, like everything, it seems like the key is communication, and it's an area that we spend the least amount of time on. Most of us assume, well, I'm fine today, I'll get to that later, or my spouse or my family, they'll know what to do in that situation, and we don't communicate. And so the default happens to be treatment and intervention, and treatment and intervention, and treatment and intervention at times where people say, well, no, I'm not interested in having a long life, I'm interested in having a good life and a peaceful death. And the statistics are something where some 80% of us say that we know that we need to talk to our family and put something in writing, but 20% of us do it. And a similar statistic is talking to our doctors. We don't do it. They're saying somewhere between 7 and 17% of us talk to our doctors, but yet better than 90% of us say that's important. So we're not following through, and we need to figure out ways that we can do that so that we get the treatment we want, but also get the care that we want.
So it's important to go beyond just having a will. I hear people say that all the time. I'm all set, I have a will. But like you said, if you're not communicating to your children, they don't know what it is that you want, what quality of life is important to you. So how are some ways that folks can do this? And I also thought about traveling. You know, you say, well, you communicate to your local doctor, you communicate to your family, but if, you know, you're in California or you're overseas and something happens, what are ways that you can protect yourself, you know, and planning for, you know, emergency situations or any type of a situation in that case?
Well, one of the things that I think that is important that I try to communicate to the folks that we work with is, of course, we're not going to know the litany of things that might go wrong with us as we age, but we can talk about our values. What's important is treatment important, comfort care important, where do I live, what are some of those values that we have that are important to us that we're communicating with about those, and then putting it in writing, not just so that our loved ones understand, which is important, but also our medical providers. And then you bring up the point, oftentimes, University of Michigan even did a study on it, said even those that are in writing, oftentimes they're not used by the medical professionals because they're not aware that it exists. Maybe I'm out of town when some thing happens or what have you. So what we are doing in our office is providing folks with a wallet card, where with that wallet card it will provide a healthcare provider with your emergency contacts, any medical conditions that you may have, allergies, etc. But also they can download or get faxed to them immediately what your healthcare power of attorney, end of life wishes, and what have you, so it's accessible wherever you are at. So, you know, if the ambulance comes, you don't have to say, swing by my house and pick up my documents on the way to the hospital.
You know, I was thinking, what do? You travel with a booklet with you all the time, you know, it has all this information. So you just have a little wallet card?
It's a wallet card, and all of the information is stored on there and immediately can be downloaded by a healthcare provider.
So you actually have a web address that you have all of, like, I have all of my medical information on it that my emergency doctor or anybody could access if I gave them that.
Exactly, as well as your contact people, and if you have any allergies or special medications or things that someone should be aware of. Yes.
That really brings up, you know, there's just so much to think about, and you know, that's one of the reasons why I was glad you were coming on the show today, because I know that there are some classes that are being offered right now, and I normally don't put my glasses on, but I'm going to so I can read this correctly. The Legacy Law Center, in conjunction and partnership with the City of Ann Arbor Parks and Recreation, is offering a program series called The Culture of Aging. The classes are held at the Ann Arbor Senior Center at 1320 Baldwin Avenue. One class is on December 6th from 6:30 to 8 p.m. called When the Time Comes, Can We Let Our Loved Ones Go? Can You Let Go and Die? Please tell us about those classes. They seem to be very intriguing.
Well, I'm looking forward to being a facilitator at both of those. So the first one, the sandwich generation, oftentimes, you know, if I'm incapacitated, I'm not making the healthcare decisions. My adult child, who's also probably have children at home, are the ones who are making those decisions. And so we're trying to talk to them about, here's the things that you need to talk to your mom or dad, and to make sure you understand, and so that when you're in that situation, you understand what's important to them, you're able to do that, and balance your life at the same time there. A lot of times we have a tendency of trying to do what is easiest or to defer to others, and maybe that's not what we had hoped for, and so that's important there. The second one is more of trying to help us discuss and it's a hard discussion over understanding that, one, the statistics haven't moved too much. 100% of us are going to die.
Yeah, okay, all
And
right.
given that,
Yes.
how do we approach that end of life? What's important? Do I want to have the longest life? Do I want every treatment or intervention? And when does hospice care come in and I go to comfort care? Am I type of person who I want my doctor to tell me about my options and be straight with me, or am I one who am too fragile to handle that? And we're all different, but to really communicate those things there on what is important to us, and so that our providers can do it, because there's problems now both at the end of our families not able to make good decisions, and the medical community doing a default treatment and intervention no matter what. And as a result of that, we're not getting what we want at the end of our lives in a lot of cases, and we want to see what we can do to be a consumer to the end.
Well, this class seems, very important, because I know a lot of people find it difficult to talk to their children. A lot of children find it difficult to listen to their parents talk about their parents dying. That's the last thing in the world they want to hear about. But then they're faced with a medical emergency or a senior illness, and then they've got doctors telling them on this hand, and then they get kind of caught in the middle. But if they really know what their parents want, it can help fortify their decision and say, no, this is what my mom and dad wanted. She didn't want to be in a life machine for the rest of her life. She wants to had a good life. If my mother always used to say, if my brain's gone, I'm gone. I mean, my mother made that very clear to me, that I don't want to be kept on a machine if I'm gone.
Right.
And to be able to have that information and know that, it gives you the strength to talk to a doctor that keeps trying to push every possible life-saving machine on you to keep you breathing. So the classes that you're having, they're free, correct?
That's correct.
Okay, and but they have to register, right?
Yes.
Okay, so I do have the registration information here. You can register at either the Elder Law website, which is www.elderlawannarbor.com, or at the Ann Arbor Parks and Recreation, which is www.a2gov.org/parks, or you can call 734-794-6000, extension 42570. So sign up for those classes, bring your kids. It sounds like a very, very interesting and very needed conversation that folks have to have. So Terry, you've really provided us Silver Tsunamis with a lot of issues to consider, and some great classes that we can go to help us prepare for our end-of-life needs, so we can live the way we want to live. Thank you for joining us today. Is there anything else you'd like to share with our audience before we go?
Well, I appreciate you having me here today, Bonnie, and I would just encourage everyone to consider communicating, and putting it in writing as to what's important to them and what they want or they don't want. And if that raises questions, you don't know how to proceed or what have you, feel free to contact our office, and we'd be happy to help you with that.
So you can contact your office or talk to you at one of the classes.
That's
and
right.
Go from there, right?
Exactly.
All right. Thank you, Terry.
Well, thank you for having me.
Thank you for joining us on Senior Moments. I hope you enjoyed the show. I'm Joe Madrano, and I wish you a happy Thanksgiving.